Okay, we're starting a little bit late. Few minutes late. Typical. I had a couple of phone calls from people that know that I broadcast at this time. They should know not to call during this time, but invariably they do. So, let's see. Oh, Chipmunk, I'm going to have to restart. I'm going to have to restart this puppy. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that.
All right, let's see what happens this time. See if we can see if we get rid of the chipmunk voice. See when I restart here if it's gone. Gotta love the chipmunk voice. Let's see. All right, that fixed it. And I still don't know, for the life of me, what causes the chipmunk voice. If somebody could research that and just tell me, we'd both know. So, sounds good, says Carlos. Good to go. All right. So, oh, I got to get my H2O. I'll be right back. Got to get my H2O. Can't do a show without the H2O. There you go. So see how we put that together there? Okay, we need to see all three GSs in one shot. Triforce Rich. Well, here we can see the 005, and we can see a little stunner under the cuff there, and then we can do a quick shot to the bench, a live shot to the 231. That's as good as I can do for all three in one shot. There you go. How's that 005 stunner looking? So there you go. And I'm going to set it right down on the bracelet. People say, oh my gosh, you'll scratch the back. I mean, heaven help them if they see how I'm going to use this 002. It'll get a patina on it, just like my Date 8 had. I mean, it'll be worn and used. Trust me, it will be. And we'll talk about that because Carlos brought that up in the comments. Let me try to get this chair in here a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. Are you wearing the Citizen this evening, the Mighty Rat? Missed one live stream, and Greg has a new gold stunner. Eduardo in the house. Why do you call it H2O when it's easy to just say hydrogen oxide? Okay, there we go. Carlos in the house bringing some intellect to the conversation. Day one of the GS honeymoon. Lewis in the house. And Lance is in the house. That 002 looks great. Well, there you go. The 002 stunner alert on the 002. So who was the grinder that made the comment? Remember a couple of months ago when I started talking about getting the 002? And there was a grinder that said, oh, you'll never get that. You're just talking and blah, blah, blah. Who was the grinder? I don't remember who it was in the chat. Do you guys remember who the troll was? Probably the same troll that gave me a hard time for buying the Bitcoin at 10,000 and then it went in half. It went down to like 5,000. Of course, now it's back up to 7,500. So I think it'll be over what I paid for it at some point in time, and I will not be selling. So that's how that works. You don't buy high and sell low. You buy high and wait for it to go higher. That's what you do. Buy high and sell higher. That's the whole thing. Let's see here. Like man, Craig took 25K and took down his prey like the big game hunter that he is. Kevin in the house. Well, let's talk about this too, because I think inflation might be headed our way. It might not be, but I think with the amount of money that's being spent and that's being printed, the quantitative easing, it's not really printed, it's just digits on a computer, right? They just send a whole bunch of money to the banks and let them loan it out. But anyway, I think there's going to be some inflation on items that are limited production. The mass-produced items, usually the inflation doesn't affect those that much because they can just make more and it's not a big deal. It's not that limited an item. But the items that are they're less produced of, things like this 002, there might be some inflation affecting the market. And so it might be a good time to buy some of these luxury items now as opposed to waiting. What do you think about that? And let's take a close-up look here. Quick live shot there. Quick live shot of the 002 Stunner. So, so I sent a buddy of mine asked about the watch, and I texted a picture to him, and he says, "Oh, it looks fake." LOL, right? Of course, because most Rolexes out there are fake, right? So he figured this one, he'd troll me a little bit. So there you go. Well, I'll tell you what, if they can make a fake one that looks this good, you know, they're doing a pretty good job. Look at that puppy on wrist. I can't get over the shape of that case and the way it fits on the wrist and how comfortable it is. They just really engineered this to be a watch that you actually wear. So imagine that. Imagine a watch that you actually wear. And somebody made a comment on the unboxing video, I guess. Well, I don't really like the presentation isn't up to like Patek standards, you know, that beautiful wooden box and all that stuff, right? And I said, yeah, I'd rather than put the money into the watch as opposed to some box that I'm not going to use, right? So, yeah, no, we don't care about boxes. We care about the actual watch. So that's how that is. Let's see here. Like AC3, Craig is completely Rolexless. And that's where the similarities end, Cheatown. Craig, did Steve charge you over his cost, or was this sort of a gift at cost for all the stuff you've done for him? Triforced Rich in the house. Well, I mean, a gentleman would never tell. I got a good deal on the watch. I have no idea what his cost is. No idea what the markup is on these. I got what I thought was a comfortable deal. He obviously liked the deal because he took it. And so we're both happy. And that's all that matters on a transaction, is that the buyer and the seller are happy. And look at this thing. I mean, what's not to be happy about? So, and I really like this is right in the center of my wrist, the clasp. When the watch is pretty much centered, this is pretty much centered. So, and the strap can still mold to my wrist some after some use. I think that'll do that a little bit, and I think it'll only get better over time, but it's super comfortable even as we speak. You can see there. And by the way, I have to admit, Steve and I, and even Linda was involved, by the way, in sizing this clasp. We had it wrong. We had the leather, this piece, above this bar of gold, so it was coming out this hole, and then it was going into these, so it made the whole thing thicker, right? And we didn't know, we didn't have it threaded right through here like it's supposed to be. Now it's like it's supposed to be, right? See there? It's like it's supposed to be. On the live stream yesterday, it wasn't like it's supposed to be. It still worked, but it made it thicker here than it needed to be, right? So yeah, it's best to take your time. We were in a rush. I'd taken a lot of photos and so on, and then we were in a rush to do the live stream, and we didn't get that quite right. Let's see. Too much thinking goes into brand names and packaging. Not enough goes into paying attention to the actual items. Cheatown. I'm not wearing a box. I'm wearing the watch, says Lewis. To me, a dress watch seems more natural wearing it lower, not in the bone. Lower. What do you mean by lower? You mean over the bone? You mean closer to the hand? I mean, you could do that. I could do that. Absolutely, I could do that. And it would work. I could wear it further down, but I like it just on this side of the bone, just on the high side of the bone for me. But yeah, I mean, I could do it either way with this watch. It would be comfortable either way. Let's see. Who's going to scoop up the other one? Kevin D. That is the big question because he's got one more. One more is in the country. And that's all that's in the country, folks. That's it. And we don't know when there'll be another one. This is a rare item. And the lovely Bree Fit Dance, she's a rare item too. She's one of a kind also. And she is in the house. Let's see. Looks a lot better now that you fixed the clasp. Looked a bit off yesterday's stream. Yeah, all you geniuses, come on. How come nobody told me? How come nobody pointed it out? Come on. Collectively, we got, the biggest minds in horology here, and nobody pointed it out to me that thing wasn't threaded right. So I had to figure it out once I got home. I looked closer at it, and I said, that's not right. So, and Bree says hi to everyone. Triforce French looks a bit better now that you fixed the clasp. Looked a bit off on yesterday's stream. Oh yeah, I just read that. I'm sorry. Craig, do you think you'll order a custom order strap to go along with the standard one, Chi-Town? If he has another watch event, he's got a cool guy that makes straps. I might talk to him about a custom strap because what you could do is it wouldn't have to be as long. This part wouldn't have to be as long, and so he could engineer it so that there's not as much of a flap. But I mean, it works. It works even the way it is. Okay, no real issue, and I like the strap. So it's not a must-have, but it'd be interesting thing to talk about. And by the way, I think this strap is going to last quite a while with using the deployant where you're not flexing it a lot to put it on and off. I think this is going to help the strap last, because you don't have to flex it much at all the way it works. Let's see. Yes, closer to the hand, I mean, says Carlos. Yeah, it could be done. I think it looks pretty good right where it's parked right now. I like it partially just a little bit under the shirt at all times. I don't like it fully exposed if I can avoid it. But yeah, all of the above, Carlos. A lot of people like to wear them down, more exposed in the power position. If I was in a situation where I really had to, put some influence on them, then maybe I'd have to fully expose it to give them the full 1-2 punch. Budasurf says, dude, where's my wrench? Hey, you were misbehaving. Now you have to appeal to the wrench gang, and 3 of them have to agree to give you your wrench back, and then you get it back. There is an appeals process. Chi-Town, California, I always wear. Let's see. How come I lost that? Everything jumped here all of a sudden. I always wear watches above the ulna on my wrist bone. I can't stand them below. Chi-Town. Yeah, most watches, it's kind of uncomfortable to wear them down there, but this one is pretty comfortable in either position. But yeah, I agree. I like it above, personally. You were being naughty, so you lost your wrench privileges. We are waiting for a contrition act after what it seemed bad behavior with a guest in the house. Carlos did point out, actually to his credit, you missed his comment. Oh, he pointed out that this wasn't right on the live stream? Okay. Well, that's Steve's fault. He was monitoring the comments. No one knows about how to fasten a strap on a fine gold watch because they never wear theirs. Chi-Town. Lance says, are you going to get any more Grand Seikos in the coming years, or is this your last GS purchase? That's a very good question. One never knows that sort of thing, but I'm pretty happy at this point with my trifecta. I never noticed the clasp, couldn't take my eyes off that silky sweep. It says 21 up bowls. Triforce Rich retracted 2 messages. Consider other straps because the watch will last your life, but the strap will not. Plus, you can mix and match colors. Yeah, but the problem is this doesn't have drilled lugs, and it's a little bit tricky to switch them out. And so I don't think I'm going to mess around with just switching it just for fun. I think I kind of like the look of this. So I might not play around with that, but we'll see. Let's see. What did Beerserve do? Okay, I agree to give Beerserve the wrench, but he should behave well if we have guests in the house. There you go. Okay, so Carlos votes yes. So that's one vote. We need two more. Greg's in the house. Just like Dubrow stated, you have a knack for turning 25K into 12K like magic. Watch is boring. Hope you bought it for 7K because that's what it's worth. Greg Boat is trolling in the house. We've got a troll in the house. What do you think about that? Well, Greg, that's fine. I mean, I don't really care what it's worth because I buy my watches to wear. I don't buy them to resell, and I'm not in the business, if you will. So yeah, it's not an issue for me. When I buy a camera, for example, I'm not worried about what I can sell it for. It's a tool that I'm going to use in my work. And I'm not in the business of buying and selling cameras. So I'm in the business of buying tools that perform a task. And this, I think, will perform the task that I purchased it for very nicely. Let's see. He was making a ball watch double entendre comma with a female guest. Uh-oh. Dude, why did you do that, Rat? He didn't say anything. At a certain point, us wrench gang members need to have a discussion on when to use the wrench. I see Chi. Thanks for telling me. Try for search. Okay. We should give Beerserve another chance. Okay, so Lance says he should get another chance. So we got two. Two saying for another chance. We need one more. Very inappropriate comment involving ringer and ball watches. Yes, we have to be very kind and nice. By the way, Bree, if you're in, you can Skype in, and Carlos, you can Skype in. Anybody that would like to Skype in and participate, you are welcome to do so. Let's see, and I also asked Steve if he could Skype in, but I haven't heard back from him. He might be busy. He might be up to his elbows. And customers, Greg's our new chat stream jester. Greg is under the impression that you need this GS to maintain its value to survive. He thinks it's your 401k like other watch YouTubers. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of those folks are going to have a comeuppance if the economy goes south and they're trying to sell their steel stunners. Some of those guys are loaded up on a bunch of steel stunners. I saw one share a picture. They had this picture. Oh, my, they were so proud. They had like 12 steel Rolex stunners, most of them sport watches, a lot of them the sought-after models, some subs, a Batgirl, a Pepsi, you name it, they had them all there in there. Some of them more than one, right? And I'm like, I had to comment. I said, man, that's a lot of steel. That's a lot of steel. Why not sell one or two or three of them and get yourself a gold stunner to go along with your steel stunners? You give somebody, when somebody retires, you give them a gold watch. You don't give them a steel watch. There's a reason why you give them a gold watch, because a watch is actually, good in gold. It actually works. So there's that. And Carlos says, hello, Crappy. So Crappy's in the house. I guess I can't see Crappy. That's one of those weird things that goes on. And Crappy's still sore after beating Chip Wong. After the beating Chip Wong gave you on the Dogman stream. I saw that the other day. It was hilarious. Well, there you go. Okay, I'm trying to think what else. I have another video in the works. Oh, here. Let's show some photos of the stunner while we can, real quick here. And we'll just go through a few here. Few photos of the stunner. Please try Fortress. Make me a favor, says Carlos. Okay. Where would you rank this gold stunner with the rest you have owned, President, etc.? Okay, we'll talk about that. The gold day dates. Oh, I'm going to go back to that picture because I really like that brushing on the side, and I really like the way, you can't really tell, but it's rounded from that brushing down underneath. It's nice and rounded on the sides. So, okay, so the day date is a great all-around, do-everything watch. And for somebody that's just going to have one watch to kind of do it all, that would probably be a very good choice, assuming you have good vision, because they can be a little bit dicey to read. If you're going to have multiple watches and you want a dedicated dress watch, which is what I would call this, a dedicated dress watch, I think this absolutely trumps a Date 8. I think it's super elegant, really classy looking. I love the sweep of that spring drive, that second hand. I mean, my gosh, you just can't stop looking at it, right? So, yeah, it depends on the use case. It depends on what you're trying to do. But if you want the ultimate dress watch, I really don't think you can beat this 002 Stunner. I think this poops all over a Patek, a Lange, a Vacheron, any of those. I mean, this just dumps all over them. Here, Carlos is calling. See if I can pipe him in. Pipe Carlos into the show. Give me a second here, Carlos. Let me make this full screen. Okay, let me get my headset so that I can hear you.
Hello, Craig.
Okay, we've got
Hello, Craig.
Carlos.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Where are you?
Yeah,
You at
very
home?
good. First of all, congratulations.
Oh,
That was really is very, very nice. Yeah,
well,
I really love it. I
well,
really
well.
love it,
Thank you.
and it's clear that your coverage, your photos make it more justice
Well, what
than the website.
do you think about on wrist? Like on wrist, do you think it looks okay on my wrist?
To me, it seems perfect.
Looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Look, good size.
Yeah.
Good size for my wrist.
Yeah, yeah. To me, seems a perfect size for you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah. And
Good.
for everybody, I think that size is really a sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
of size that is perfect for any wrist and any occasion. I think that you would wear that watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple of questions in here real quick to deal with. I think it's important to conduct ourselves in the stream in the same respectful manner as if we were in person. I agree. Horology is a gentleman's endeavor. We should behave like... That's right. That's what we do here on this channel. Other channels run their channels differently, but this one we try to behave a little bit. Now, are the strap and the clasp made in Italy? No, the clasp is made, the point clasp is made in Italy. The strap is made in Japan. It says right on it. Okay, so, and then we got, what does this watch have, why does this watch have a viewable case back with that movement? Greg is trolling again. Greg has mental problems. He's in his mom's basement, and so we have to cut him a little bit of slack. He's intellectually challenged, so we have to cut him a little bit of slack. But the case back to view a movement, I mean, I'm glad it's there. I kind of like it, and that's how you would look at the power reserve. In this case, is on the back, so you kind of need it to look at the power reserve. But to me, I don't need a display back at all. I mean, it doesn't. It wouldn't sway me buying a watch one way or the other if it didn't have a display back, because I generally wear the watch. I generally don't spend my time ogling the back of the watch. So that's just me. Kyle's in the house, and we can't see Carlos. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. Now you can see Carlos. I forgot to push the button, but at least you could hear him. And Triforce Rich says, I have to admit there is nothing quite like brushed 18 karat gold. It makes me tempted to go for the 18238 over the newer ones because they have the polished lugs. I do like the brushing on the 18238 myself. It kind of breaks it up, but people have different opinions on that. Some like the full polished. Obviously, the full polished even brings that bling to another level. So there's that. And Greg says nothing to see. Good for girly wrists, says Greg. Greg Boat. He says this is a good size for girly wrists. I think if he continues with the mentally ill stuff, then maybe one of the wrench gang can straighten out Greg, because he doesn't understand how things work. Let's see. Ken is in the house. Brushing reminds me of Omega. Okay. We're being very generous to your buffoonish comments, Greg, says Cheetown. Yeah, I think at some point he'll probably get smacked with a wrench, but that's how that works. And Eduardo says, Greg, why don't you Skype in and show us your Pateks? Greg is a little cranky since his mom didn't get his off-brand potato chips. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's short on potato chips. Greg is still saving up for the Tudor Black Bay. Keep mowing your mom's lawn. You'll get this watch someday. Uh-oh, Triforce is letting him have it. And they're opening up Beach Access in San Diego County on Monday. Okay, well, that's good. By the way, most of the studies are showing that the virus does not do well outdoors at all. That it's very difficult for it to spread from one person to the other outdoors, unless, of course, they shook hands and then somebody touched their face or something like that. But if you don't touch each other, even if you're relatively close, it has much less likelihood of transferring from one person to the other if you're outdoors. So that's a big plus, and hopefully they'll start opening up all the parks that were closed, because that was ludicrous to close parks, because people should be out getting exercise. That's about the best thing they could do right now for their health. Eduardo's in the house. He says, Carlos, how do you like that Fitbit? Does it keep accurate heart rate?
I don't know if it's accurate, but it keep it, and I really use it more like a kind of anchor to remember me to do some exercise.
Okay.
More than the data.
Okay.
Really, the kind of exercise that I do is mostly hiking, on a brisk way, but hiking. And now I am doing more spinning, and as I cannot go out of the house. But to me, it's a kind of anchor to remember me to do some exercise.
Kevin has Lance is calling in. Let's try to merge him. See if I can merge him. Wait, I'm not. Meeting now. What do I need to do? I guess I click this. See if that works. Uh-oh. I think I lost
Hello.
Carlos. Okay, let me try to add Carlos back in. For some reason that didn't work. I wasn't able to merge them. Let me see if I can add him in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, add. Give me a second here. Hopefully this will work. Carlos, are you back? Oh, it's ringing his phone. Okay, are you back, Carlos?
Hello?
Okay, Carlos is back. Okay, there we go. It didn't give me
Lance.
it didn't give me
Hi, Carlos.
it didn't give me the merge option right away, and then I had to add you back in. So at least that worked. Okay. So all right, so let me catch up on the comments, and then we'll see what Lance has. Let's see. Carlos, would you consider the SBGY003 for your 25th? The 003 is the steel version of this watch.
Yeah. Not really.
Yeah, I think Carlos, if he's going to go for something like this, he should just get an 002 and be done with it. And that way he doesn't have to do
no,
any...
but I was thinking before about what happened to me with Grand Seiko, no? And the thing is, this kind of things. I think a lot of things we persuade ourselves first is the love that we have for something, and then we try to rationalize. And the thing is really for some reason I really appreciate it. If I would use my mind, it will make a lot of sense. Something similar to happen to me with the Lexus, but really I don't feel the love or the lust for going to that kind of item. In my opinion, and it's something that I am missing.
We'll give you more time. No worries. It took me 40 years, so don't worry.
I have time.
It took me 40 years. So let's see, Craig. You think you're done with any more watch purchases, or will you be staying open-minded? Well, I'm always open-minded. I'm always open-minded, but it would have to be something pretty unbelievable. The virus does not like temps over 74 degrees and high humidity. There you go, Mike bringing some facts into it. Doesn't like sunlight either. Best fitness buddy out there is an Apple Watch, in my honest opinion, but Fitbits are also very good, says Cheetown. And Lewis says, Carlos, is your Patek well? It's a lovely watch. I'm sure it's well.
Yeah. Yes, the only thing, and I knew since the time that I purchased it, I think that I am using it not more than 10 times per year,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously with the quarantine less. But it's something that I really like it. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that you feel very delicate, very, very, very thin
Mm-hmm.
for very specific occasions. I really like it, but
Yeah.
I
You have
really
it. You
don't
have
have
it.
a lot of
Yeah. You
occasions.
have it if you need it. You have it if you need
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
No, and I like it. I
Yeah.
really like it. I grew. I think that I have told this before, but I grew with my father.
Mm-hmm.
His daily watch is Rolex, but
Mm-hmm.
on the very, very, very special occasions, he wears, and he still wears, the Patek that he
Mm-hmm.
received as engagement gift from my mother.
Sure.
And always I remember since I was little kid
Mm-hmm.
telling me this is the best watch that exists in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
I sell that Patek, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something that is into me since a long time, and for me it's a kind of an accomplishment
Mm-hmm.
or something that really make me love that brand, and the same happens to me with Rolex, honestly.
Sure. Tim is asking a question which you've already answered. Carlos, are you jealous of Craig's new watch? And if so, Steve still has one. Well, I think he's already answered that. So
I
he's.
am very happy for Craig, and I think, in my opinion, I think that watch is absolutely perfect for Craig.
Mhm.
Craig love it, and in fact, I think that probably it's perfect. I think for his use, I I really like it, and I am glad that Craig is enjoying it.
And Cheetown says Carlos is an old romantic, Craig. Yeah, but he's not as old as me, though. Joey's in the house. Um, Carlos, Doxa is his best watch, says Joey. What is Lance wearing? What do you have on wrist? And also, after we get Lance's, we got to find out what Carlos has on wrist too. What's on
Yeah,
wrist, Lance?
so right now I'm wearing my Tag Heuer 1500
Mm-hmm.
in two-tone.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I wear this watch probably. Um, I don't wear it every day. I probably wear it like 2 times a week. But yeah. But right now, the watch I wear the most, I have a Seiko 5 that I wear
Mm-hmm.
probably the most. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Here's another comment from Triforce Rich. Carlos, I think you should go for a 9F GS. It'll get you in at a lower price point, and it's something you can just grab and go for years. It'll add diversity to your collection. A 9F stunner.
Uh, First of all, as we saw, we told other times, I don't consider myself as a collector.
Mm-hmm.
And really, yeah, instead of the quartz, I really will love the Explorer, love the Day Date. I think that yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, but I don't have the feeling
Yeah.
or the love yet.
Yeah, he's not there yet. He hasn't made the transition yet. We'll give him time. AP is a Range Rover for your wrist. Okay, that makes sense. Range Rovers aren't very reliable, so that makes sense. AP Royal Oak is not even a sports watch. 50 millimeter water resistance is a joke, says Triforce Rich. Finishing is insane, though. Okay, I bet you it
Yeah.
doesn't. I bet you it doesn't reach what this 002 is. Let's see. Aero Advocate, agree, Cheetown. I really like some of their designs, but overall, they are money furnace that causes you a headache. And Bree says, I agree with Carlos. Thumbs up. Well, Bree, come on in, Skype in, and show some support. Carlos, I reckon your 5196 is the perfect Patek Philippe watch for occasional use. No complications to worry about setting. Oh, absolutely. And it's manual wind, so that's the way to go. Absolutely, for an occasional use watch. Kyle's in the house. Carlos is on the money. Emotion plays a big role, says Kyle Jet. And Triforce Rich, to me, durability is a huge quality in watches, and Pateks are notoriously delicate, good for 10 time a year use, but terrible for daily use. Don't people use them daily? Is this a wives' tale that they're delicate, or is that true? I mean, can they not hold up to everyday use? I would think people would wear them every day. Some people. Can you comment on that, Carlos?
I think that that specific reference, I think that is not for daily use. But yeah, I think the following one, I don't know what is the reference, the following one that has the date and has automatic. Yeah, I think that could be used as daily. I understand that, yes,
I mean,
they are more fragile than
it
Rolex or
would
something.
definitely turn me off. I wouldn't buy an unreliable watch. I pay big money for a watch. I want it to work. So yeah, if they're delicate like that and have to be babied, that would be a pass for me. But I buy watches to wear and use, and I use them heavily. I don't baby any of the watches. Even if I'm wearing, a dress watch, it's not going to be babied. Let's see,
Yeah, but I
Mike's.
don't have any experience. The only experience that I have regarding that is my father, Calatrava, that is one that is round with an integrated gold bracelet. He never, ever serviced it, and he still uses. Probably he uses like probably not more than 3 times per year now,
Yeah.
but he never serviced it. For sure, the timekeeping will be very bad, and for sure, it's in the risk of having a big a big mess on that watch.
Yeah.
But he never serviced it in 54 years or 53 years.
Gotcha. Okay, and so Mike says, I really like the new SBGP015. I'm looking for a good quartz model. Might have to give Steve a call. Yes, absolutely give Steve a call. Lewis is in the house. Well spoken, Carlos. It's important to have an emotional connection with the watch, not necessarily blind loyalty to a brand. And Joey says, a new Craig combo meal deal 231005 and 002. Yeah, that's what it stands right now. Absolutely. And Jipu, a three-piece meal. I'd like to see a picture of the Grand Seiko you have next to a Patek. Well, hopefully, when Steve has another event, hopefully we'll be able to do something like that. I don't have any Pateks handy to put a side-by-side right now, but yeah. Pateks look gorgeous. I mean, there's no getting around that. Let's see, the GS would win, I think, says Sam. Tim is in the house. I used to live in Japan, so my love is for Grand Seiko. Okay, and Carlos, if this is from Triforce Rich, Carlos, if I do buy a GS and you move to Spring Drive, if I do buy a GS and you move to San Diego, I'll let you borrow mine. That way you can make your own opinion. Triforce Rich. Well, yeah,
No,
but
I have seen it.
let's
I
be
have
very
seen
we got to be very careful, because if Carlos actually wears a Grand Seiko for like a week or so and actually wears it on his wrist, he'll probably want to get rid of all his other watches. So we want to be careful about that. We don't want to do harm here. So
I've tried on the stores several times. I like it, the snowflake, the feeling of how light it is it, but a bit thick. Yeah. But definitely, I
so
really understand that you and a lot of people love that watches. Yeah.
Cheetown has a comment. Emotional connection to a watch is certainly a huge factor, but I also consider what you get for my money. I thought you probably meant what I get for my money, since my jadedness leads to brand names losing their novelty. In other words, the novelty wears off and the quality stays. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that another way to put it is, why not skate to where the puck's going to be as opposed to where the puck is? I think Grand Seiko is becoming more popular all the time, and it's the comer. And I think brands like Patek are going to be waning. So I always head towards where the puck's going to be, not where it is now. But we'll see how all that works out. And of course, I go for absolute reliability and accuracy and so on. And that's what I'm going to get with this spring drive stunner. So everybody has different needs. And
Yeah.
Carlos is just wearing his, several times a year. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. So
Yeah, yeah. It
Eduardo's.
depends on what you look for. I really get in love with that shape and that very plain dial in the good sense for me.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's something that what I was looking or how I was justifying myself is that for me that was the quintessential of a dress watch that
Mhm.
is still having the full mechanical movement.
Mhm.
Also, the case back that is not with sapphire to me is how would it made a classical dress watch with the classical technology now? That
Oh
is for
yeah,
me.
no, I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Eduardo, is the Grand Seiko Spring Drive the Honda Civic of the watch world in terms of reliability? I'd say more like a Toyota. Toyotas are a little more reliable than Honda. So yeah, I would say it's more like the Toyota or more like the Lexus. Absolutely. Absolute bulletproof reliability. Don't have to worry about doing anything to it. Just grab it and go. That's what you get with Grand Seiko. Uh, Aero Advocate, G-Town, California, OS Navy, OS Rose Gold, 44 mil, and plain RO 15 450. The latter is fine. The chronographs were a disaster. Okay. And Triforce Switch, well, I can tell you that uh, piece piece unique Steve has would dwarf the GS. That's not a fair comparison. Can't compare a 25K watch to one that costs the house. I don't know. I think this 002 would go right up against it. This 002 is pretty much perfect. So that's how that works. Eduardo's in the house. Did Steve confirm the presence of a piece unique? He didn't deny it. And Mike's in the house. Carlos, I think you once said your Explorer was your most comfortable watch to wear. Still true?
Uh, no, in fact, the most comfortable would be
Datejust?
the day just
Yep. The Jubilee.
with the Jubilee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
after that, I would say that yes, the Explorer, and for sure, if you need the adjustability of the on the bracelet, then Explorer would be better.
And
Yeah.
Sam says the 002 is rare. I think the Japanese like to hold their best watches in Japan, some sort of cultural pride in their watches. Sam in the house. I've heard some things like that. And Cheetown says, I reckon the 15450 is the most appropriate Royal Oak size for being the dress watch it is. Okay. He had a little trollery there. Triforce Rich, he has hinted at it and will not deny it exactly. I haven't seen it, but there are enough rumors that I believe it personally. Apparently, he wore it on a stream and took it off when somebody noticed. Uh-oh. I wasn't on that stream. Craig, can we get a gold stunner check real quick? All right. Well, once these gentlemen leave the call, I'll give you a close up of the stunner. Let's see. I can't quite remember. Carlos has a Day-Date. Yes, a Day-Date 40 and an Explorer. And I don't think you have a sub though. You've got the Datejust.
No,
Okay.
no,
Um,
I don't have a sub. Well, the
it,
sub that
yeah.
the most similar diving is this one.
Yeah. There you go. And Joey says Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank likes Grand Seiko, and he said it on Teddy B's YouTube. Okay. More like the Land Cruiser equals GS. Yeah, Land Cruiser's very rugged. Uh, Greg Boat, Dreaming versus Patek. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit him with a hammer because he's kind of a jerk. So I'm going to hit him with a hammer myself. And let's see here. I guess what we do is we just hide him. Yeah, we just hide him. See if that got rid of him. Just like that. That's how we get rid of trolls. And Cheetown says, GS is the Lexus of watches. Both are high-end divisions of big companies. Both are Japanese. Both don't appeal to brand snobs, and both have hand finishing done to them. Thoughts on the SBGA384? Sam's in the house. We might take a look at that. Email me. The best thing for you to do is to email me a photo of the watch, a link. Send me a link, and then I can pull it up. That way I don't have to Google it and all that. Carlos, needed you to get a Milgauss. We can be Lightning Bolt Brothers. Okay, what's up?
I really like the Milgauss, and in fact, I have been very, very, very close twice on purchasing the white one. That is will be my favorite. But I really, for me, for my feeling, coming at that time, I had the Daytona and the Explorer, and they just to me was a bit thick for my feeling. But I understand that could be perfect for other people.
Yeah, I agree. They are a little on the thick side. Okay, so Lance, listen, we got to do a little bit of an intervention here. I mean, don't buy any more of the affordable watches, okay? Don't buy any more of the affordable watches. Start saving up. And
Because I already decided that probably the next watch I'm going to buy, it's probably either going to be I really want a Datejust 36 or a Grand Seiko. The Grand Seiko I really want, I don't remember the exact model number, but it was the reissue of the original Grand Seiko from 1960. I don't remember the model number of that one, but I really like that one.
Okay.
But but my next watch would probably I really want to get a Datejust 36, and I wouldn't buy a new one. I'd probably get a pre-owned one.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was thinking about and now I was wondering if I could get your opinion on this. So the Datejust, I was thinking of getting it with the oyster bracelet and the fluted bezel.
I would pass on that. I would get if you're going to get the fluted bezel, I'd absolutely get the Jubilee.
Okay.
Yeah. And that would be my first choice, period. Or an older one with the engine turned bezel and the Jubilee.
Yeah, because the one that a jeweler in my town, I tried the one that they had there. I think it was from 1983 or 84. I think it was an 83 Datejust, and it was the exact specifications. Had a silver dial with the oyster bracelet, and the only thing that I really wish it had was that and I really don't understand why Rolex kind of cheaped out on this back like in the 80s and 90s, how they always would put the what's the word those really cheap the clasps. Yeah,
stamp clasp.
If
it's in good shape, if the clasp is in good shape and the rest of the bracelet's in good shape, those work fine. I wore them for years.
Okay.
No issues. All these collectors that never wear their watches, I mean, they'll speak ill of those clasps all the time. But if it's in good shape and it works fine, it's going to work for years. It's no problem. I mean, you can just where it folds, you can bend that just very slightly, one of the two, and that tightens it. Okay.
Okay.
So it won't pop open on you. But it's very serviceable. They were fine, so I don't think you're going to have a problem with that. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go because they want me to look at some things here. And we will catch up next time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Just like that, they called right in. All right, now I'm going to check my email because somebody said there's an email here for me. And Bree Fit Dance says her favorite watches. Oh, some of these are citizens. Interesting. Some of these are citizens. Let me pull up the citizen. Wow. That's an affordable piece. And that actually looks kind of cool. But you got to be careful about the size. Remember, you need something that'll fit your wrist. Okay, so that's one that she looked at. Now let me go and pull up a second one here. And here's another one. And again, an affordable piece. An affordable piece. Somebody could just buy that for the lovely Brianna, and it's 53% off. Look at that. All right, and let's pull up another piece. Let's pull up another piece. And this one, oh, okay. Okay. This one, a little bit of a step up. A little bit of a step up from those others for the lovely Brianna. And let's see what the other one is. Here's another one that's a 31 mil. And this one's steel and gold. Steel and gold. Okay, and let's see what else she's got on the list here. And let's see what she's got here. She's got a Grand Seiko, it looks like. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. Okay. So Bree's done a little bit of research here. A little bit of research. She's found another Grand Seiko. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, that one's interesting too. That one's interesting too. So the lovely Brianna is finding some very interesting pieces. Well, maybe you should call in on the, maybe you should Skype in, young lady, and see what we can do. Okay, let's see what else is going on. And David says, I'm back. Let's see. Let's see. It's better to have a good watch than a lot of stinkers or mediocres. Very good. Okay. Lance, the first GS you're talking about is the J14070. Okay, incredible that Lance is still in high school. Lance, you are younger. I wouldn't get a Datejust unless you're getting a fun color like a blue. Get it on Jubilee, fluted bezel. Stay away from precious metal. There you go. Would look like you're wearing Grandpa's watch. Turn bezel is more handsome by far. Good call. Yeah, the engine turn bezel, those are cool. My first Datejust had the engine turn bezel and had a American-made Jubilee bracelet. And the bracelet was stamped. It worked fine, folks. Eduardo's in the house. Lance keeps looking. If you're thinking about Rolex, there's tons of variations. Louis, I always like the OP, Oyster Perpetual. Joey in the house, a lot of old date, just Jubilee bracelet have bad stretch, so be careful. Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to buy a worn out watch. You want to buy a Safe Queen if you can. Oh, somebody wanted a close-up of the 002. Here you go. I like that domed crystal. Okay, let's see. Bree isn't listening to what you're saying, Craig. She wants rose gold, and she goes for Rolex over GS. Rebel girl. Well, I mean, she might need to wear Rolex like I did for 40 years or so, and then she'll come to Grand Seiko. Everybody will come to Grand Seiko eventually in their due time. But yes, she does have to get away from the rose gold. She has to get to the regular gold. The new Rolex bracelets don't suffer from stretch. Well, the real new ones maybe not, but even ones like 10 years ago did. I mean, any will if they're worn enough. See, the problem with using screws to secure the links, I've talked about this before on the channel, is those screws are fixed in place, and that center link pivots on the screw, which causes wear. And usually the screw is harder than the link, so the link will wear, and that hole will elongate. And so that will give you the stretch, right? And that's why the pins and the collars, like the 231, like the bracelet that it has, it uses the pin and collar system that will help alleviate that problem. And of course, titanium is very tough stuff anyway, so it's not going to, you're not going to have that problem with that watch. But you got to watch it with Rolexes because they use those screws, and that's not a good solution for a bracelet like that. You're going to get more wear over time. Let's see here. See what else we got here. Let's see. Do I have good taste? Yeah, some of those are nice, Bree. Some of those look nice. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Make sure you make the right decision. We'll give you some counseling. Let's see. Never, I guess he meant dove with an expensive watch, and I never been aware of anybody in my diving party or boating wearing an expensive watch. I have around 300 dives, most of them diving resorts. There you go. They probably use devices that are specifically made for diving, right? Craig, just sent you a picture of a vintage Rolex Prince. What do you think of it? Okay, we'll take a look. We will take a look. Oh my goodness. No, no, no. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We never recommend ugly watches on this channel. We do not recommend ugly watches on this channel. That would be a pass. You were just testing me, Lance? I think you were just testing me. Let's see. Try first. Carlos, I knew an avid diver who used his deep sea, but he was also very wealthy to the point that losing his watch wouldn't affect him financially. Well, nobody should have a watch that if they lost it, it affected them financially. If that's the case, you've got too much money in your watch. These are luxury items. They're not, they should be considered luxury items. And the lovely Brianna is calling. And let me make this full screen. Give me a second, Bree. Get my headset on here.
All right.
All right, Bree's in the channel, in the channel.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, no, some of those watches look really nice. I personally would stay away from rose gold just because it then gets harder to match it with other gold items that you might get. Because if you always get yellow gold, everything will always match. If you get rose gold, sometimes there's different shades of rose gold, and also a lot of times you might get like something in gold, and then it's going to kind of clash with the rose gold. It's just not going to look as good. At least I don't see an upside to going with the rose gold because I don't think it looks any better either. I mean, this watch I have on, this 002 Stunner, I mean, it's yellow gold. I think it looks stunning. I wouldn't want it in rose gold. So I would go with the regular.
It's just like a girly touch, but I think you're right. Just like gold in general, just yellow gold would be
it'll look
enough.
real classy on you
classy.
and timeless and all of that. Even though, you know, like a rose gold might be like popular for a period of time, yellow gold has been popular for thousands of years.
And will be.
Yes, for thousands of years. So there's that. Okay, so somebody says OP36 white gold, okay, and somebody else said, wow, I guess they were talking about that watch I showed, yeah. And that's, Lewis says, that's why I gave up chasing divers. I don't dive, and even if I did, I wouldn't wear one. I'd prefer thinner watches, but I'd like the visibility of a diver. There you go. Show it again. No, we're not going to show that one again. I assume people do it. I've never seen it. Okay, they're talking about diving with a watch, diver's watch. Joey's in the house. Craig, please do a close-up of the GS clasp. Okay, I'll show you. I've got a picture of it I can show. And Kyle's in the house and says, I-D-O-N. I don't know if he means I don't. Lance, get a SBGY005 or 001. Okay, there's a recommendation for Lance. Carlos, all we want is the Breguet Marine can survive the swim to the resort. Okay. Carlos, Carlos says you do not need a diving watch. Usually the diving computer is the first thing you purchase. Exactly. Would you like to go diving sometime, Bree? Would you go diving?
Oh, yeah. I would like to.
Okay. And Kyle's in the house. I don't think GS has women's watches around 26 mil that are automatics. Rolex offers them. Okay. I can certify it. Okay. Triforce Lance, if you don't mind quartz, Craig's 005 GS is amazing value for the money, and the quality will dwarf a vintage Rolex, and this coming from a multi-Rolex owner. Well, there you go. Fernando, what's the price of this? Is he talking about the 002? Yeah, 25,000 retail. Let me clean my glasses real quick. They got some kind of speck on them. It's making it hard to
Oh,
read.
yeah.
Read this.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's catch up. Lovely Brianna. What have you been doing?
Well, so I went for a walk. It was sunnier.
Long walk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And did you do any sprints?
No, I
Okay.
did not.
Okay. I want you doing some sprints. Okay. All right. And today is Arm Day, right?
It is arm day. Yes.
Okay, so you're going to do that. And you're getting a lot of work done?
Yes.
You're
A lot.
getting your schooling done too?
Yes.
Okay, good. What is the latest on the schools? Are they going to open in the fall
Oh,
or what?
close the door. So nobody
Okay.
bothers me. But what was the question?
Are the schools going to open in the fall, or do you know yet?
We don't know yet. Nobody has said anything about it.
Okay.
Everything's online so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And let me see if there's any other comments I have to catch up on here. Okay. Oh, by the way, did you see any of the photos of the 002?
I did. I went to Flickr, and
okay.
they were
What
stunning.
what's your honest opinion of the watch? I mean, don't say it just because we like Steve and we want to be nice and all that. Give your honest, unfiltered opinion.
I mean, I think it is actually a good watch for classy man, I guess you could say.
In a dressed up situation,
Yes.
like wearing a suit.
Yes.
Okay.
For the ones that don't wear suits or are not classy, it's not appropriate.
Gotcha.
So, but I do like the watch. It's really elegant, and yeah.
Yeah.
I would wear it. I mean, if it was like a ladies, I would wear it too.
When you're dressed up, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is, a dress watch, exactly. All right. What else? What other pearls of wisdom do you have for us? Is there any way anybody can support your content creation?
Let's see here. I guess just to be responsible for
No.
what you do.
No. I was asking is that how can someone support your content creation?
Oh, Patreon, or just going to my website, briefitdance.com, and supporting me on any platform.
And following you on Instagram and all that kind of good stuff.
Yes, social media platforms.
Yeah. And folks, she's really cranking out some content, so it's worth your while to check it out.
Yes, I'm also working hard.
There you go. All right. Well, we're going to, any other thing you want to say before I let you go?
To keep staying like healthy and safe, and to be productive.
Eat right.
Eat right.
Do you know that there's a doctor was on, I think he was on Bill Maher's show. I think it was Bill Maher's show. And he was talking about basically people eating right and exercising and taking care of themselves. He basically said that 80% of the pre-existing conditions could be mitigated if people just ate right and exercised. In other words, just took care of themselves and got rest, got enough rest. He said the three things, eating right, exercising, and getting enough rest. He said basically if they did those three things, they could mitigate a lot of the risk factors for having a tough time with this virus. And so it's amazing that literally 80% of the people that are having trouble with this thing, they could turn that around with just making some changes.
Yeah.
And he said you can see results pretty quickly if you do those three things. You can see results pretty quickly. Not in 1 or 2 days, but the first, after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month, you're going to see significant differences. And so your mission to educate people on these things and to make a point of health and fitness and all this, it's a valid mission, and a lot of people need to hear about all this. So Craig, are squats part of her workout routine? Yes, I know she does squats.
Oh,
And,
yes.
she'll be doing some videos on some of her workouts. Follow her on social media, and you'll see all of that good stuff. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Thank you.
The lovely
See ya.
Bree, BreeFitDance.com, just like that, BreeFitDance.com. Got that ugly watch on the jeez, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. On this channel, that watch. Oh boy. Okay. Let me go back to the inbox here and see if there's anything. And we're going to wrap up fairly soon, folks. Fairly soon we're going to wrap up. Okay. Let me catch up on the comments. Craig, is Lance young enough to get away with buying a Tudor? Please pull up the 7954. Why would we suggest that he do something foolish like buy a Tudor? Why would we ever do that? Make sure the shorts are torn and thrown in a dress shirt with a fraying collar for good measure. And we talked about this a little bit on the live stream. I think if somebody was otherwise well dressed, in other words, maybe wearing a nice polo shirt, nice pair of khakis, nice pair of jeans, decent shoes or boots or whatever, if they were otherwise well dressed, I think they could pull off an 002. I think you could pull off an 002 in those circumstances. I absolutely think you could do it. I think this is a pretty versatile watch, to tell you the truth. I think it could be worn in a number of circumstances. Obviously, the natural environment is a dress situation, but I think it is even more versatile than that, is what I'm going to say right here and now. Let's see. Bree, do you recommend Russian twists to build core strength? That's a good question. Maybe she'll do a video on that. What is the latest on Kim Jong? That's a good question. Has Grand Seiko ever made solid gold watch, including bracelet? Yes. Yes, they have. Dirk, do you want to talk about the date? Craig, what do you think about Vostok watches? Can they actually be used for diving? That's a good question. I have no idea. Maybe somebody will chime in the chat. Craig, thoughts on calorie counting? If you're eating the right foods, you shouldn't have to do that. If you're eating the right foods, you will naturally feel full and feel satisfied. One reason why people eat too much is they eat foods that are not nutritious. Your body wants to get a certain amount of nutrition. And if you eat a lot of foods that are high in calories but low in nutrition, you will tend to to eat too much, take in too many calories because you're not getting the nutrition that you need. And also eating too fast is a problem because your body doesn't realize there's a delay from the time you take in the calories. There's a delay of your body telling your brain that it's got enough calories. And if you take in those calories real quick, it hasn't had time to signal your brain and say, hey, I'm cool, right? We don't need any more. And so that's why, another reason why people overeat sometimes is they eat too fast. But if you eat food that is high in fiber and has a lot of nutrition, you'll tend to feel full, and you won't want to eat as much. So yeah, eat foods that are high in fiber and have a lot of nutrition. Things like a sweet potato, for example, is a good example. Yeah, an avocado has a lot of nutrition in it. Different things like that. So oatmeal is a very good thing to eat. That'll kind of fill you up. You'll feel satisfied for quite a while if you eat a nice bowl of oatmeal. So little tricks like that. And Derek says, we can't wrap up Craig. Not yet. Craig, I recommend people work on side plank twists to build upper body and core strength. There you go. Cheat down. Absolutely. I suggest that Bree do a video on that. Maybe she'll do a video on that. We can all get inspired. I think Tag is a different brand now than back then. Yeah, I'd pass on that. We haven't really touched on the date yet. We talked about it a little while earlier. No love for Tudor. Lance, get Grand Seiko. Don't waste your money or time on other watches. Sam in the house. I agree. Only janitors should wear Tudor, according to Craig. No, they shouldn't wear. No, why would they want to wear Tudor? That would be a serious mistake. Try First Rich. What do you think of Derek's obsession with the date? OnePlus. Don't get Craig. Don't get Craig going about Tudor. You all get stimulated yet? No, sir. If he doesn't think anyone should wear Tudor except Lamont. No, I don't even want him to wear one. I wouldn't wish a Tudor on anybody. Let's see. 5645 to 8,000 solid gold. Okay. You can get a SBGN009 for 2,500. There you go. Jaden says. And Craig, when the quarantine is eased up, I recommend wearing the 002 with a tattered sweater and going to the local bank to cash out on the free coffee and pastries, slumming it. Lamont is in the house. The lovely Brianna says, I do Russian twist daily for my ab workouts. Well, there you go. That's how that works. Bree's no joke. And Craig, I just sent you a pic of cheesy design by GS. Yeah, I mean, GS is capable of producing some ugly watches too. Every maker is capable of producing some ugly watches. This isn't that ugly though. Come on, give them a little break. Now, I don't know if that 50th anniversary thing's really on there. I think somebody probably put that on there. I don't think that's really on the watch, but you know, if it is, it's a little bit of a fail. And I do like the 2017 and newer dial with the GS at the top. I do like that, but yeah. That's how you get your watch up on the screen. Just email it to me. That's the easiest way to do it. Saves me time. Thoughts on brown rice as a super meal? It's okay. There's a lot more nutrition, I believe, in a sweet potato. So as my base, I would rather use a sweet potato than the rice and some black beans. A sweet potato, some black beans, and maybe some nice salmon to go with it. You got a heck of a nutritious meal there. So, and that, throw in some avocado and call it a day. Let's see, maybe a spinach salad to go with it. You'd be rocking it. I just saw Austin Powers on Netflix. Okay. I eat because I'm sad, and I'm sad because I eat. It's a vicious cycle. let's see here. Buford Dance, I'm doing burpees, side plank twists, squat, thrust jumps, sit-ups, reverse lunges, and push-ups. Anything you suggest I add? Uh-oh. Craig, did you show the 002 yet? Well, I mean, it's on my wrist. Let's look at some more pictures. Let's look at a few more pictures of the 002. And these are on my Flickr. So if you want to go, they are public on my Flickr. You can take a look. There's the clasp. And unfortunately, it's hard to get the white balance exactly right. So the gold color, it doesn't really look exactly right, unfortunately. It's very tricky to get the white balance right. That's close to correct. That looks close to correct, and that's pretty close, but still looking at it in person, it's not a match. That's pretty close to what it looks like in person. Pretty close. But for some reason, the photos just don't do it justice. They really don't. And I know everybody says that, but in this case, it's true. This thing in person just looks absolutely amazing. And it's super comfortable on wrist. So, Cheat cover, that's great. I do planks a minute a day apart from side planks. I also do knee end crunches. Trevor says, Kevin, I used to think that Rolex factories make Tudors, but actually Tudors are made in the same factories as lower end Swiss brands. They own Tudor, but it's not the same. Okay, Briefit Dance, thanks for the suggestions. I nominate Lamont for Wrench Gang. And Sam, where is Boo Serves Wrench? Okay. Great routine, says Bree. You're temporarily lost the right to nominate. Okay. I do burpees after a big meal at Hungry Jack's. Does the 002 sit square on your wrist? Yes, it does a pretty good job of staying in a good spot on the wrist. And the clasp is pretty much in the center. It's hard to tell, but it's pretty much in the center underneath. And then let's see if it's centered on top, which it is right now. It's pretty much centered on the bottom. So that, yeah, it works pretty good. Works pretty good. Craig, what exercise do you do for keeping your wrist strength up? I do alternating curls, 25-pound dumbbells. I do at least 3 sets of 50, and that's with each arm, 50 with each arm. And then I have a device that is basically it's a pipe with paracord going down to a 1-gallon jug, and I have that cord. I twist like this, and I slowly raise that jug up from the ground to 4 foot in the air, and then I slowly lower it down, and that's really good for the grip and for forearms. A lot of tennis players do that trick, and we rigged up a rig like that for Brianna, and she's doing that too now. So she's on that program also. And Michael says, congratulations on the 002. Well, thank you. Lance says, Craig sent you a photo of an Omega Seamaster 120. Your thoughts? Okay, yeah, I had one. So let me see if I can pull that up. I had a 120. And I'm getting hungry, folks, so I am going to have to go. Okay, yeah, this is similar to the one I had. The one I had more of a silver dial. That almost looks like a gray dial. The two things I didn't particularly like about mine is I didn't particularly like those skeletonized hands. I know that's a Seamaster thing, but I don't particularly like that. And again, legibility got to a point where it wasn't super legible for me, and the skeletonized hands are part of the reason. But no, I wore my 120 for several years, and you can see pictures if you go to my Flickr and just search Seamaster or Omega. You'll see pictures of it. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great bargain watch. I think you get a lot of watch for the money. And I had the quartz version. So I notice this one's the automatic version. So yeah, it's a pretty cool watch. The other thing is the clasp on it only has a single trigger. And so sometimes my wrist would hit the trigger and it would pop open. Not a big deal, you just close it back up, but sometimes that would happen. I know why they went to the dual triggers, because the single trigger will sometimes be triggered when you don't want it to be triggered. So yeah, let's do a time check while I'm checking these comments. Craig, maybe Be Served deserves another chance. With great power comes great responsibility. He has my nomination. Okay, we'll give him a wrench back. He's got a wrench. The 002 with a black or blue suit would look great. Oh yeah, absolutely. As it seems, Buserv is going to get the wrench again. I deleted that comment to see how I feel. Okay. Craig, do you make love with watches on wrist, or do you take them off? You say your watches are heavy use, so I assume, yeah, usually the watches stay on unless the young lady complains and has an issue with it, then I would take the watch off. Absolutely, I would take the watch off. So Michael's in the house. Craig, do you think you could make the 005 work as a one-watch solution, given that it doesn't have micro adjustment on the clasp? It would be tricky for me because my wrist does change size seasonally, a fair enough amount that I usually adjust the 2311 notch on the micro adjustments. I extend it about this time of the year. I'll be making that adjustment. So for me, it would be a little bit dicey. I'd have to wear it a little bit loose in the winter so that then it would be properly comfortable in the summer. I could do that. For people who don't have wrists that vary that much, then I think you could definitely get away with it. And if you don't mind it being loose in the wintertime when it's cooler, I think you could get away with it. So those are the variables involved that you need to make a decision about. Give Megan the wrench instead. She has my vote. The 120 has not aged well. Okay. Stay away from Omega unless your purpose in life is to bore people about the moon. Thanks for sharing your 002 and taking great photos of it. I appreciate your time. Have a good afternoon and good luck. Bye. Okay, OnePlus. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Derek, go grab me hot pastrami. I'm hungry. Thanks. Whatever you do, don't get the 120, says Beer Serve. Sorry, not Derek. I meant Kyle. Lance, check out the Show Master 300 Trilogy 1957. Not sure what that is. I used to own the same model of the Seamaster 120. I had the same problem with the clasp opening. Lance in the house. Let's see. Omega single trigger has been nicknamed the college campus trigger since it gets triggered easily. There you go. Now I use my wrench powers to nominate Megan for a wrench. I don't see Megan in here right now. I do it with my watch on always. Studebaker, 1/4 inch variation in the wrist is very unusual amount. You might get that checked out, Studebaker. Well, I don't think it's quite 1/4 inch. It depends. I mean, but as you get older, you will have more variation. I will tell you that. I didn't have as much variation in my wrist when I was younger. So you will probably have more when you get older. And I'm not going to have anything checked out. I stay far away from the doctors and the hospitals and all of that stuff. I don't go anywhere near any of those people, because once they get their claws into you, you are theirs. I can't imagine Craig saying hands off the watch like that scene from American Psycho with DJ. There you go. All right, 51 live viewers, folks. 51 live viewers. That's how it goes. We'll take a look at a few more pictures, and then I'm going to eat. I am hungry. I am hungry. I think this is already maxed out size-wise, so let's see what we got here. Again, look at the side of that case. That is just a beautiful, beautiful side view. I think much more attractive than the side view that on the Calatrava. Much more attractive. Very nice crown. And just a stunning, stunning dial. That texture of that dial is just amazing. Looks pretty good from the back too. And again, that wonderful side view. Again, that's what people generally see of your watch, is they see that side view. So you want that side view to be stunning, right? And there's that blued second hand in the sun, catching that sun. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing out in the sun. Went for a little walk today. And there's that side view again, showing the brushed area. And there's the clasp. Somebody asked for a look at the clasp. There's the clasp right there. There's a good look at the clasp. There she is under the cuff. Another look at the clasp closed. So there you go, folks. Looks pretty good. You can see it there on wrist. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. What's for dinner? The usual. Yeah. Looks like a Patek. I like how the case on the 002 is a combination of brushed and polished surface. True GS stunner. Absolutely, Lance. That is a very thin watch. Does it feel sturdy? Oh, yes. Very solid. It's about 10 mils thick. Some say 10.2 mils. Some say 10.5. It's very solid. It's just right. I wouldn't want it any thinner. See, it's just right. It looks great on the wrist. The watches that are like 7 millimeters thick, I think that's getting a little extreme. I think this is just right. Just right combination. And Carlos says, congrats at Craig. It seems you're going to pay back the new watch soon with YouTube money. Well, I doubt that. YouTube doesn't pay very well. How many jewels are in the 002's movement? 30, I believe, Lance. 30. And Studebaker, I didn't think you were a fan of the display case back. I can take or leave it, but in this case you kind of need it because that's the only way you can see the power reserve indicator. So, and I do like it. It looks good. But typically it adds thickness to a watch to have that. So, for example, on the Snowflake, I think that's one of the reasons why it makes it a little bit thicker, because it has that display back. So if I can give up that display back and get a little thinner, that's a good trade-off. In this case, we don't need to do that because it's thin enough even with the case back, the display back. So it's okay. It's all good. How does the 002 compare to that old 9F gold watch you had? It definitely is, I think, a more appropriate size for me. I think the other one did look a little bit small. I like them both, don't get me wrong, but this one, it takes it to a whole nother level. Of course, takes it to a whole nother price level too. So, but yeah, I do like it. Black beans, sweet potato, and more, yeah. For 20K, I hope it looks good. Joey in the house. Well, yeah, I guess so. You're right about that. I'm with Craig. There are watches that are way too thin, like paper. I don't like that. 10 mil is stunning and elegant. Triforce Rich. Hope you are well. Power reserve on the back where it belongs. Kevin in the house. Hope you are all keeping well, says ER. Cheetown Craig, you said personal responsibility too many times to get any substantial ad revenue. Okay, that's probably it. What do real watch experts consider best, screws or pipes and collars? Well, if they know what they're talking about, the pipes and collars are a much better way to go if they know what they're talking about. But a lot of them, unfortunately, don't know what they're talking about. So there are a lot of advantages to the pipes and collars, or the pins and pipes, or whatever terminology you want to use. And I have a lot of information on that. If you go to my Grand Seiko page on my website, there's a link in the description of this video. Go there. I have a lot of information about that. Craig, you should wind it up for us and point the camera at the case back so we can see the power reserve go up in action. Craig, you should wind it for us and point the camera at the case back. I don't think I can get a clean enough shot at that for you to really see that. It's pretty small. I don't think I saw. I don't think, and all it does is just goes up. So, but what's neat is when you do wind this, and I'll wind it right now. When you do wind this, it stops when it's fully wound. So you know exactly. So I just turned it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. It's fully wound. It won't turn anymore. So I turned it 6 times, and it's fully wound. I wound it this morning, first thing this morning. So that gives you an idea. 6 winds, and I'm back up to 72-hour power reserve. The old stunner was really small. It was 34 mil. No, I think it was 35.5 mils, Stu. I think that's the spec on that watch. ER. Nice civil bunch of people here. LOL. Craig, have you seen the new Jacob & Company Bugatti watch? The one with the working 16-cylinder Sapphire engine? No. I think I'll pass on that. With very short gaiter strap. I like when you... Trashy Larry was hit with the wrench, it looks like. I like when you say the experts don't know what they're talking about. Well, sometimes they don't. I mean, you know, I get the idea that some of these people don't even use these watches on a regular basis. They just talk about them. Is Lance buying your 005? Not that I know of. I don't think that his 005 is for sale, says Lance. There you go. I haven't announced that it's for sale, but obviously if somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse, I would be tempted. Did you get rid of your 9F, Stu DeBaker? No, the 005 is sitting right here. Sitting right here. Let's see here. Wind it next to Mike so we can hear the action. Curious to see how different it is compared to the 231. It is, the 231 is, you can hear it a little bit when you wind it. It's sort of like it's not a ticking, but it's some kind of a noise. This makes a little less of a noise. And this, what's interesting about this is when you're winding it, it has a little bit of back force, like it's pushing back on you, which is interesting, right? I mean, it's not anything bad or whatever, but it's just different. That one doesn't have that back force. This has literally, when you're winding it, you can literally feel some back force to it, whereas the other one you don't really feel that. I would love to see the starting of the watch live from stop, the fast start of the spring drive. Yeah, I hear you, Carlos, and maybe I'll try to do that sometime. But I'm going to be wearing it for a while, so I don't want to let it stop. Yeah, Carlos, that would be cool. Let's see how smooth that start is from the start. Craig, what kind of Rolex you buy? I'm not buying any right now. Michael in the house, Craig, what did you do about the clasp bracelet on your day during season changes? I removed or added a link, one link. Yeah. Let's see, Stu, 3 watches is too many. There you go. Lamont, what rock have you been under? Cheetown, Craig owned many Rolexes over the last 40 years, including GMT Master, Submariners, Datejust, and Day Dates. There you go. All right, we're going to wrap it up. And a red sub, by the way. We're going to wrap this puppy up thank you everybody for tuning in and participating. This is a participation thing. And we're going to wrap it up, and we will see you all next time. Stay tuned for some more produced videos coming up. A good one with a bunch of macro shots tomorrow coming up on this channel. Same bat channel, same bat time. Carry on, everybody. Oh, hey, click subscribe, click the bell.